36 days in Bharat, a country on the other side of the world. Full of diversity and delicious food. Culture so different from ours, and countless heritage sites. The first day in India left me feeling slightly lightheaded, full of crazy driving, noise from the street, and more people than I've seen in my whole life. I was not sure what was happening. We arrived at the village. Village life seemed to me so peaceful and just different. I woke up early and saw women taking water from the well, washing clothes outside, and feeding the animals. I had never seen so many papayas and other fruits just growing on the trees. In my country, we don't really use spices when we cook, so seeing how it was done here was definitely something new. The food was simply delicious, rich in flavors, and with ghee was so very tasty. The value was way louder than I anticipated. I always thought that people just light candles during this time. The noise from the street and fireworks were just too much to handle after just changing time zones. People there seem to live so in tune with nature. People were looking at us with disbelief, and I think my own reflected in their eyes. What surprised me the most were traditional clothes worn by women. Is it even possible to do all that in such attire? For me, no, but for them it came naturally. It was time to visit this old Kamani mosque. It was completely empty, and the sun was slowly setting as we went inside. It's not common to find places like this in Europe, especially when you don't have to pay for entrance. The sunset was nothing like I had known. It makes everything so golden for a long time before finally disappearing. Next day we visited a market in Gujarat. The flowers that the women were making were breathtaking. I had never seen this type of flowers before, and it was so fascinating to see how they were made into bouquets. Everything was so colorful, and I wanted to bring back with me all the clay pots that I saw there. In winter we don't really have fresh vegetables, so seeing this abundance of them during winter just made me so excited and happy. Coconuts were my obsession during this trip. I could easily drink 3 at once, and to my delight and slight shock, they were available everywhere. We had decided to go on a little road trip in this jungle. We have many green fields in Europe, but a completely different vegetation. And it's not common to find places with such dry and orange soil. I must admit, I was looking around me all the time. The last thing I wanted was to step on a snake or being attacked by a monkey. The landscape seemed exotic, green palm trees and dry orange soil. Nothing like the landscape that I had known. After we had seen this beautiful lake, we lost our way and ended up in this village. Somehow, at the end of this eventful day, we found this lake. It was so peaceful, I almost forgot the warnings about all the tigers and lions that lived in that forest. Well, I was trying my best to learn how to cook during this trip, from experts themselves, but I still cannot make a perfect rotlo. Later that day we went to Preksha's house to see her wedding gifts. In my culture, we have no such customs, so it was interesting to see how all the family gathered and was looking at the gifts for the future bride. On our way to another place, we stumble upon this Taranga Tiv Dam temple. We had to remove our shoes, and filming was only allowed outside. We could still see the precision that went into each and every sculpture. The color was also captivating. In the strong sun, it looked almost bright orange. The shape of this temple also caught my attention. The way it was so beautifully made even from the outside. We definitely didn't expect to stumble there randomly on our way to Bhuj. We woke up before sunrise to see this Swaminarayan Temple Bhuj in Gujarat. There were lots of people despite the early hour. The marble looked almost soft in this delicate morning light. We had seen women wearing traditional clothes and they contrasted beautifully with the colors around us. I could feel the aroma in the air, a sweet, delicate smell, and could see the coconuts displayed a few meters away. We visited also at night, and it gave off a different impression, way more mysterious. The women were making flower bouquets for the temple. The winter was nothing like I expected. Even in the morning, I felt the hot air on my skin. Close to the Pakistani border, we saw these cows in the water. I guess they were also feeling hot, just like us. Tanpura fascinated me with its shape and sound. It's almost like a guitar, but not exactly like it, and the sound is also not the same. Way of Heaven leads to Dholavira. We were driving for a few kilometers and we could only see the sea around us. The water was still and blue. It contrasted with this unusually empty road. After waiting for around 2 hours, we got a permission to enter White Desert. It was not completely dry, but the sunset looked breathtaking. It reflected on the water. We had spent some time there, just observing the sun disappearing over the horizon. White Desert is definitely a very popular touristic attraction, but if you move a little bit to the side, you can find some empty spots. But don't expect this to be completely empty. I think it's nice to see it both when it's filled with water and when it's completely dry. It will give a totally different effect. I have never tried chiku before, but to my surprise, it was sweet and soft, almost like dates. Hospitality in Bharat is just something else. People will give you so many things to try and eat. I had used bas way too often. I must admit that food made like this had way better flavor. It had this smoky taste to it. My friends and family were all surprised how big and filling breakfasts are in India. Even the front door was interesting to me because of the colors. Next to the Pakistani border was this fortress. It was fascinating to witness, being that close to the border, only desert in between. I looked in the distance and only could see many kilometers of an empty flat terrain. I truly admire women's strength in Bharat. This Bijal Vilas Palace Manvi was another thing that we saw. It was during sunset, so everything looked even more intense. This place used to be a summer resort for an heir to the throne, and it was built with red sandstone. Apparently many movies were filmed there, since on the balcony you can capture a beautiful sunset. It was different than palaces in Europe, especially when it comes to architecture. I really wanted to linger there just to watch the sun disappearing over the horizon. The combination of orange and green created a spectacular sight. On our way back, we stumbled upon this place, Nadaba. It was hard to find and reach, so we only saw it with a drone. After this, we went back and the short trip ended. But of course, we have way more adventures to come in Bharat.